Hello, friends, it's Brenda. I would like to welcome you to my home this morning. This is my home studio, and welcome. I wanted to tell you a little bit about what's different about today's service, other than the obvious, right? We are not on Zoom, and I know lots of you folks really like Zoom. But this week, we are streaming live to YouTube and Facebook, so you're joining us from one of those platforms. Now, I know you like Zoom, many of you, because you feel like you can be together as a community with one another, see each other, all that. I get that. But I'm hoping that you will see the value in us bringing you Sunday service this way on YouTube and Facebook, where we can control the production and the quality of the production a lot more. So I wanted to, though, let you know that, you can make comments, and we encourage you to do so in the chat. So in both YouTube and Facebook, you can enter comments, and we really do encourage you to do that. Also, throughout the service, a couple of times when we do the Lord's Prayer and the Declaration of Principles and the Stewardship Prayer, the words to those prayers will scroll across the bottom of the screen. And they look like they're going really fast, but you'll find that when you read them, they're not. They're going to be going about as fast as you would be saying them, even pretty slowly, as a matter of fact. So again, welcome to my home studio. And, it was about 4 months ago when Rob and I first live streamed from the sanctuary. And at that time, we had both just discovered this software for live streaming, and we just kind of dove right in to all of the technology with its bells and whistles. And for the last 4 months, we've really been working with it. And it's really been a most excellent adventure for me personally, because I started my own live streaming channel that streams every Sunday night, Spirit Throw Me a Bone Live. And in fact, I'm streaming this church service to my channels as well. So hopefully some of my Spirit Throw Me a Bone folks will be joining us this morning. And if you are totally new to ISD, please let us know in the comments. Say hello in the comments, all right? Especially you new folks, but all of you, if you're here with us during the service, just say hi in the comments. And then on Facebook, it'll just bring up your profile name. And on YouTube, I think it will do the same. So welcome to the service. And how about we get started right now? Hello again. My name is Brenda Paradiso, and I'm a ministerial student here at the Institute for Spiritual Development, and I'd like to welcome you to our online Sunday service. The Institute for Spiritual Development is a God-centered, spiritually inclusive institution and community dedicated to our growing spiritual awareness in an atmosphere of unconditional love and acceptance. Welcome home. And I'd like to offer a special welcome to those of you who may be joining us for the first time. And by way of an introduction, we would like to share with you the Declaration of Principles that unite us as a congregation and spiritual community. Those of you at home, if you would like, please join us. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe infinite intelligence expresses itself in all existence and in humanity as a manifestation of divine love. We affirm the unity of all life everywhere. We believe in communion with all planes of existence, and that meaningful communication flows from this connection. We affirm the divine right of each individual to seek the truth in accordance with their consciousness, and that living in harmony with that truth defines true spirituality. We affirm that spiritual unfoldment is progressive and unending, and that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any soul. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the mandate, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We affirm the personal responsibility of the individual and that we choose our happiness or unhappiness as we apply the laws of the universe. We affirm that life is eternal and that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We believe the ultimate expression of God in our life is unconditional love of our neighbors and ourselves. We accept that the living gifts of prophecy and healing reported in all sacred scripture are an affirmation of divine spirit working through us. So, there you have it. This is who we are, and this is what we believe. And again, we consider it an honor to share the next hour or so with you. We are about to enter sacred time. We are about to make this time and this virtual place and the physical space we each occupy by our presence and intention sacred. Set any distractions aside, and as you do, I invite you to let loose of any worries or concerns of this past week, any worries that you may be carrying with you at this moment that would deny you connection to your deepest self. I'm about to start some music, and as it plays, I invite you to prepare an altar. Right there, right next to you. You don't need very much room. Just gather a few sacred items, or 2 or 3. Perhaps light a candle, fire up some incense. Also, please gather 3 specific items for your altar. A medium-sized bowl, fill it with water, not quite to the top, and a small container of salt, and then a bowl for stirring. We're going to use those supplies during our healing and well-being service portion of the service. And if you are not called to make an altar, no worries, no problem. Just settle back, get comfortable, maybe get a fresh cup of coffee. Just prepare yourself to enter sacred space with us. And now, as the music begins, we'll dedicate the next 5 minutes or so to building our altars and otherwise settling in to sacred space. Welcome back. So with perfect love and perfect trust, we create sacred space. And we do this by creating an energetic container, a circle. And in our mind's eye, we'll cast the circle by imagining a blue flame encircling us in sacred space. Encircling us in the physical space that we occupy right now, but also a second circle reaching all the way out and encircling all of us who are worshiping together this morning in sacred space, in virtual sacred space. So that blue flame, see it forming our circle clockwise. It only takes 2 parts intention and 1 part imagination. Here we go. All right. So we are going to call the 4 directions and the 4 elements, also known in my tradition as the watchtowers. These are energy consciousnesses that protect the perimeter of our circle to keep the distracting energies out and the helpful, magical, healing energies within. So we'll start in the east and go clockwise. By the air that is her breath, welcome east. By the fire of her bright spirit, welcome south. By the waters of her living womb, welcome west. And by the earth that is her body, welcome north. As above, so below, we are in sacred space. Okay, please join me now for the Lord's Prayer. We're going to be reciting the Unitarian Universalist version, and it's written by Fred Culp. Indwelling God, who art infused throughout all existence, we hallow thee with many names. Thy kingdom is within the human heart. We accept life for all that it can be on earth as throughout all. Stop. Screwed that up. Start over again. Okay, so I will give you the next 5 minutes to build your altar, gather your supplies. And if you don't choose to build an altar, don't feel called to build an altar this morning, no worries. Just relax, sit back, settle in, maybe get a fresh cup of coffee, and we will see you in 5 or so minutes. Welcome back. Now, in perfect love and perfect trust, we create sacred space. So, what really do I mean when I refer to sacred space? Well, in my tradition, creating sacred space means casting a circle, an energetic container in which we practice magic and healing. So, this is how we do it. We imagine in our mind's eye a blue flame, creating a circle, an energetic container around us, around our physical space that we're in right now. And also, for our purposes today, since we're worshiping virtually, let's also create a really big circle that will include all of us in sacred space. So 2 circles, one around your physical space you're in now, and a larger circle encompassing all of us in sacred space. See the blue flame forming the circle. It only takes 2 parts intention and 1 part imagination. See the blue flame creating the sacred space. Now I will call the 4 directions and the 4 elements to hold sentinel around the outside of our circle. I refer to them oftentimes as the watchtowers. These are energy consciousnesses that are like a filter to keep the distracting energies out of our circle and hold the sacred, magical energies within the circle. Let's get started. By the air that is her breath, welcome east. By the fire of her bright spirit, welcome south. By the waters of her living womb, welcome west. By the earth that is her body, welcome north. As above, so below, we are in sacred space. Okay. Join me now, please, in reciting the Lord's Prayer, the Unitarian Universalist version by Fred Kopp. It will be appearing on your screen momentarily. Indwelling God, who art infused throughout all existence, we hallow thee with many names. Thy kingdom is within the human heart. We accept life for all that it can be on earth as throughout all creation. May we continue to draw sustenance from the earth, and may we receive forgiveness equal to our own. May we ever move from separation towards union, to live in grace, with love in our hearts, forever and ever. So mote it be. So now we are going to prepare for meditation. So settle in. If you're not already settled in, settle in just a little bit more. Relax your shoulders, your face, your jaw. Get your feet flat on the floor. Get yourself grounded. We're going to take 3 deep breaths, inhaling and then exhaling. And we're going to do it to the phrase, breathe in love, exhale gratitude. Okay, here we go. Inhale love, exhale gratitude. Inhale love, exhale gratitude. Last time. Inhale love, exhale gratitude. I'm going to offer a short reading to kind of guide you into a light meditative space, and then it will be followed by a few minutes of silence for you to enjoy your own meditative space. The human heart beats itself. We don't know what makes a heart beat, other than the fact that it beats itself. We don't know why it starts beating or when it will stop beating. The fact is that no matter what we do, good or bad, responsible or irresponsible, our heart nourishes us by continuing to beat itself. It is always sustaining us. Therefore, the heart does not have a concept of judgment. It flows with whatever we choose and continues to support us. All human darkness comes from feeling judged, even though we are never judged. The sun is the heart of our solar system. No matter what happens on planet Earth, the sun continues to shine upon us, rising and setting. At night, the moon waxes and wanes. The moon's light is a reflection of the sun's light. No matter what happens, the sustaining rhythm of the heart is present. The heart cannot pass judgment because its nature is rhythm. That's all the heart does. It lives and beats. Believing in your heart means that you are your heart. Your heart is part of the one heart. Believing in your heart is not something you do because you feel you are wrong or bad or lost. You are never lost because you have always been present and experiencing every step of your journey. There's nothing to accomplish for the sake of the heart. The heart is all there is. Behind every moment you think you are not peaceful or feel dissatisfied, the ability you have to feel that way in the first place is always enabled by your heart. You can learn to see this when you feel afraid or find yourself in any type of place you don't want to be. Connect to your heart and breathe. When Brother Jesus talked about believing in your heart, he was not talking about belief in something. Jesus was not talking about believing really hard that a mountain would drop into the sea, or believing really hard that he died for your sins. Anybody who has stared hard enough at a cup and tried to believe it into floating has realized that this kind of believing doesn't work. Instead, Jesus proclaimed that the larger our belief in the heart becomes, the more we extend our sense of identity into the larger heart of the universe, which is God. A miracle is a perception a person has while awakening to the universal heart. Like many other miracle workers, Jesus always emphasized that miracles are meaningless because they extend from the exact same heart that sustains everything, whether it is a miracle or not. Miracles happen all the time when you believe in the heart, because the heart is a miracle, and so it is. Now is the perfect time for the healing and well-being portion of our service. This is not the right camera. Alrighty, so what I'd like for you to do now, please, is gather your bowl, if you have one, into your two hands. And now we're going to cast a little bit of a healing spell. So let's take a couple of deep breaths, and then I invite you to gaze into the water and think about those loved ones and friends and all who you wish to send healing and love to. Now, I would like for you to please grab your salt. Sprinkle a good bit of it, or pour a good bit of it into the water. And with your spoon, we're going to stir it counterclockwise. In my tradition, we call this widdershins. And this motion is used for banishing and releasing. So we are going to release dis-ease and ill health. Again, thinking about our loved ones, our friends, all who need ill health and disease to be released. Okay. Now, we're going to take a little bit of the salt this time. We're going to stir clockwise, stirring in health and well-being, vitality and strength. Again, thinking about those we are sending healing to. Even healing to the earth, if you wish. She needs it. Stirring clockwise. Now, as you gaze into your bowl and think about your loved ones for whom you are sending healing, hear this prayer. O great goddess, mother of mercy and healing, send the energy of Hygeia to nourish from her sacred bowl. Send the energy of Bridget to heal with the waters of her sacred well. Send the energy of Demeter to restore life to the withering cells. Send the energy of Kuan Yin to bless the healing with peace. Send your healing wisdom to the body to restore the sacred balance. So mote it be. And as we send healing, so are we healed. Hello, Rob. All right, so now, folks, I would like to invite you to join me as we recite the prayer of stewardship. Infinite Spirit, at this blessed gathering today, we celebrate the divinity of all that is. We honor the Institute for Spiritual Development as a living entity, brought to extraordinary life by the presence of everyone here now, by the essence of the ancestors who have come before us, and by the imagination of the souls who will come after us, carrying her into the future. We ask you to give us strength to heed her call of stewardship, so together we can make her who she was created to be, a beacon guiding all spiritual seekers to a deepening connection to the divine within. May we always encourage, inspire, and energize one another in sharing our gifts, talents, and resources to ensure our spiritual communities' life, longevity, and legacy. So mote it be. Alrighty, so now we enter the prosperity portion of our service. Don't you miss her? She's been a bit lonely, but well taken care of by Reverend Fran and Sylvia, who have been grooming her outsides. And they and other folks have been tending to her insides as well. Reverend Rob, Reverend Olivia, and others have visited and shown her love throughout these past few months. She even got a special cleaning in preparation for a small wedding ceremony she gets. She has needed some special attention these past few months, which the finance team has been able to address with the help of your generous contributions, as we've kept all the systems running and even done some needed repairs along the way. She's ready and able to open her doors to welcome us back as soon as circumstances allow. In the meantime, ISD has been stretching its wings as we've been enjoying worship, classes, and fellowship virtually the past few months on Zoom, and as we are today on Facebook. It has been a new and exciting, excellent adventure, and we appreciate your flexibility and patience as we gain our sea legs with all the new and fancy technology. Do stay tuned for some new initiatives as we plan to incorporate online services and offerings indefinitely, as we have seen our community thrive with the use of this awesome technology, even though we're not able to gather together. Like all families during these challenging times, we've had to adapt, but again, with your generous contributions, we've made it through the past several months gracefully, and I dare say have also developed some enthusiasm for the new medium called live streaming. I, for one, have learned so much since the first live stream Reverend Rob and I presented in May. We've learned how to wrangle the technology, the hardware, and the software involved in sending our message out to the great beyond known as the internet. It is our intention, with the help of continued support from our generous members, and congregants, to continue to professionalize our live streams and online offerings this spirit, I encourage you to consider making a love donation and or renewing your annual pledge with this new initiative in mind, along, of course, with all the other ongoing expenses in maintaining our spiritual community. Again, as we pass the virtual offering plate and direct you to the link for donations in the comments, we thank you for your generosity, especially during these times that are so difficult for so many. And we proclaim together, divine love always has, and divine love always will answer all of our needs. So now, I am very excited for this portion of the service because I get to welcome my friend Jennifer, who is going to be offering today's special message. No, Thanksgiving prayer. I offer this prayer of thanksgiving. Creative Spirit, source of life and love, we give thanks for the beauty of this day. Reverend Rob.